What's up, guys and ladies? Happy Monday. Thank you for coming over to the DFS 5-pack. You actually get both of us today. We don't get to do enough, combination videos anymore, but here we are ready to talk over the NBA.
Let's get it.
All right, you guys can see who's on the cover today. We'll get to him momentarily. Weekly, monthly memberships available through the website. The link is below. Subscribe to the station if you're new to it. If you can click the thumbs up, that would be awesome. Let's talk about the cash lock, Giannis. So Giannis has been super chalky in back-to-back games. Game 2 of the year, they got rolled by Miami. I mentioned on the show how that was a real possibility. Miami looked really good that day, absolutely destroyed them. Giannis had a bad game. He was chalky again Saturday night, but he got into foul trouble, missed some time against San Antonio, killed his aggression a little bit. He's going to be chalky again today. Lopez is out. Jrue Holiday is very unlikely to play with both a heel and an ankle injury, which means that Giannis really has to take control of this game. This is not Nate McMillan's Pacers. They are now literally one of the best matchups in the NBA. They play no defense. I think in cash games, you lock in Giannis. We talked through all the potential pivots throughout the members-only video, and if you want that, membership to the website. But I think for cash games, you just keep rolling with the stud right here.
I agree, man. I mean, you got guys out from Milwaukee. We know who Giannis is at this point. I just think that it's kind of, you like to say Occam's razor, keep it simple, stupid. It is one of those here. Of course, there's other good plays. We talked about it about members only. But on paper, only 10-4. You just play him and move on.
Yeah, cash lock, and if you like him, I mean, he's wildly in play for all formats.
Of course.
All right, next up. So let's talk about Kyle Kuzma. So I know that I had to work the other night, so I brought him up on the video, but you kind of made the plays, and I was happy to see that you would put him in the write-up as a main play. I used him. He was big for us. So Kyle Kuzma today is currently projected at under 1% ownership. Now, if Beal's out, that'll probably go up. But there's reasons to like Beal in or Beal being out. This is a game that should have plenty of offense, not a lot of defense. I think he's going to be way too low owned because I think people aren't sure if this is who he is yet. And they might be right. He could dud tonight, no doubt about it. I like what I've seen. I know you like what you've seen. He has been rebounding and playing really hard. This seems like a very motivated young player playing free now.
Yeah, he looks good. Listen, it's not that he was never this guy. He just never got the opportunity with, playing with LeBron James, Anthony Davis. We don't know that this is who he's going to be going forward, but he looks good so far, in a really good spot against a fast-paced Brooklyn team, a game that both of us think is going to be competitive. And the Wizards, 2-0 to start the year, might surprise some people. And if that happens, it will be because of Kuzma and Dinwiddie, the guys that are playing well right now. It's kind of like a bunch of guys that no one wanted, and they're all together. There's like a movie out like that. There's probably a ton of movies like that. The guys that are like bandits on the outside, they come together and win it all.
The Expendables.
Yeah, sure.
We'll roll with that. So we both like Kuzma, and I think he's going to come in way too low owned for what his potential production is here. Right now, he's averaging GPP value on the year. Again, if you think it comes crashing down, don't play him. I just think that he has the potential to be like a average 35 DK points this year, which would be good. And this is a good matchup to get even more than that.
With upside for much more in a spot like this, agreed.
All right, so let's flip over to the other side of the game. Let's talk about Kevin Durant, who I put on the cover today. Look, guys, there's no secrets here. Kevin Durant's awesome. I mean, that is not news to anybody. Averaging 61 DK points throughout the 3 games this year. The Nets are 1-2 and kind of lost an embarrassing game yesterday. So if you feel like the Nets are just going to run through the NBA this year, I don't think it's going to be that easy. 1, you get every team's best shot. 2, who knows what's going to happen with Kyrie? And as we talked about at length, James Harden still appears to be trying to figure out how to play with the new rules that were kind of designed to put in to make his game a little bit different. He'll figure it out, but he has 9 free throw attempts through 3 games this year. So he looks a little as somebody who's, in the process right now. He'll figure something out, but early on, KD is the one out there balling. So I love KD at what's projected to be like a fifth of the Harden ownership.
Seems like they changed the rules. It's like the James Harden rules. And as you mentioned on the members only video, it's taking him a little bit of time to adjust, shooting, single digit free throws in every game this year. Meanwhile, KD is who KD is. Nothing's changed. Nothing will change. No rule changes. He's unguardable. And listen, he's just a great play on every slate he's on. We talked about it. It's kind of like Giannis. Sure, the last game, could Paul George and Damian Lillard, could they go off even more so than guys like Durant and Giannis? Sure, but on paper, what's not to like about Durant here?
I don't know. I love the fact that they're still like looking like Harden's going to be the chalk play. And again, that might change at the end of the day, but early day ownership projections have Durant as like way lower on than Harden.
And I think that's a good point. I'm glad you just mentioned that because I mentioned to you on the other video, if they were similarly owned, like I think I'd definitely still lean Durant with the points you mentioned about Harden, still adjusting to the new rules, et cetera, et cetera. Even if Durant were slightly higher owned, I might still prefer Durant. The fact that Harden is way higher owned makes it like a no-brainer smash play.
All right, so let's move to a couple of long shots for the day. I'm going to go right back to my Milwaukee Bucks, and there's a few guys on that team I think you could take a look at. Again, Brook Lopez is out. Bobby Portis is questionable. DiVincenzo hasn't played in many, many hot minutes. Drew Holiday is doubtful. So, look at Pat Connaughton is another guy for me that's going to come in really, really low owned today, probably because he's a couple dollars more. Like if he was 4,100, I feel like it would bump up his ownership, but it's $600. We're talking about the difference of one bucket. He's played really well to start the year. He has to play big minutes right now because they are really, really short-handed. And I brought it up under Giannis, and I'll bring it up again. And if you want to look at somebody different than Pat, do your thing. He's one of the role players I was going to kind of talk about. Like Indiana is a really, really good matchup. They're very efficient offensively, so they put up points, but they play bad defense. They play relatively quickly. So I like a couple of bucks tonight as either pivots off of Giannis or guys you could play with him. And Connaughton is a guy who can stuff the stat sheet. He won't average 14 points per game at the end of the year, but he's a guy that could score, make 3 threes, get 8 rebounds because he's a very good rebounder for a guy his size, couple assists, grab a steal and a block, and walk into 30 because he's stuck playing bigger minutes right now. It won't be like that all year. But while Holiday and Lopez are out, that's different.
Yeah, and it's certainly not a lot. That's why he's a long shot. Playing big minutes, as you mentioned, he can do a little bit of everything. Guys are out playing bigger minutes, expect a competitive game. I see it. And with a lot of guys in this price range, I can't imagine he gets much love.
Exactly, because the next guy we're going to bring up, same price range, also not getting a long love, and that's Cam Reddish of the Atlanta Hawks. So I brought him up in the first game as a long shot. He was really good for me that day, and I watched most of that game. They like him in Atlanta. I love the fact that he played a lot more minutes in game 2. He's going to be low owned. And Detroit, not a team we're scared of. He's shooting it well right now, but he could take a bump down on his shooting and then just get into some peripherals because the assists, steals, and blocks haven't been there yet this year. He can get a few of those and maybe miss 1 or 2 of his threes because he probably won't shoot that high of a percentage all year. And the point that you're going to bring up is he's good.
Yeah, real good. First round pick from a couple of years ago. Like this guy's got big room for growth. We talked about it with Miles Bridges on the members only video. Sometimes it takes a couple of years. He came out after his freshman year of college. I mean, he's still probably like 20 years old, very, very young. This kid's got a lot of potential, really good spot. Atlanta could roll here, and if that happens, I think he gets extra run, playing good minutes anyways. He's got big upside because he's shooting threes. I just like his game, and at this price point, at no love, I think he's a really sneaky look in tournaments.
I agree. I don't think he gets. I bet he's going to be in the single digits. I'd almost virtually guarantee. Like him even better if Gallo's out again today. And they like him in Atlanta. I mean, this is a guy that, if you remember, he missed a couple of months last year, then came back in the playoffs. Ended the season with a bang. Almost single-handedly brought Atlanta back against my Bucks in a game where Milwaukee was rolling. They like him in Atlanta for good reason.
For sure.
So that's it, guys. It is fun taking some shots on long shots to start the year because a lot of guys are mispriced. Like we mentioned the other day with Steven Adams, like he was priced, I think, 4,600. Like maybe they just haven't adjusted to he used to be like a 6 to 7K guy for Oklahoma City. And I think there's a few guys out there this year that are just not priced correctly. And we saw a bunch of the cheap guys get new prices today because they deserved it.
Amen.
All right, you all have a good Monday. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.